The girl was born onto a tightrope. The slightest misstep meant a fall. Just as she teetered precariously, a small bird landed on her toes, using its body to help her steady herself. She cupped the bird in her palm. Instead of struggling, it pulled vigorously forward, and with that momentum, she slowly learned to navigate the rope. As the days passed and she reached school age, she would skip happily along the path, while the bird used the opportunity to play as if on a trampoline. She took the bird with her everywhere she went. They were inseparable. Time flew, and the girl turned 20. She shed her childhood innocence, trading it for elegant dresses and beautiful high heels. A chance encounter led to love at first sight with a young man. However, when he behaved flirtatiously toward her, the bird immediately rushed forward to intervene. Yet, when the man produced a novel toy, the bird's curiosity drew it close. Its beak became trapped in the mechanism, but the man helped free it from the spring. Touched by this gesture, the bird began quietly playing matchmaker, and the couple eventually married. Just as happiness seemed assured, war broke out, and her husband was forced to the front lines. She longed to follow him. Even though the rope ahead was strewn with thorns, the bird gave its all to press down the nails, blocking the path. Before long, news arrived from the front. Her husband had fallen in battle. Her heart sank into the depths of despair. She moved along the rope in a daze, her last shred of hope utterly shattered. Years later, the girl had a child of her own. Just as it had once guarded her, the bird patiently taught her child to walk the rope, continuing their bond of companionship. Decades sped by, and the girl's hair turned white with age. Walking aimlessly along the rope, she finally reached its very end. For a fleeting moment, she stepped forward into the void. At the critical instant, the bird appeared just in time, pulling her back with all its might. Then, just as it had done countless times before, the bird busied itself clearing obstacles from the rope for the girl, only to find she had already vanished, leaving behind nothing but an empty rope swaying gently in the wind. A fall is the inevitable end. No matter how beautiful the path of memories the bird clears, one cannot truly return to the past. The bird's tears and its act of following bear witness to the cycle of life. It will continue to wait for the next soul in need of guidance. Mother sheep had sheared the soft wool from her lamb, intending to knit a sweater during the summer to protect her child from the bitter cold of the coming winter. Yet, before the sweater was even half finished, the lamb was lost forever in a tragic accident. Every day, the lamb sat upon the clouds, watching its mother sorrowfully cradle the unfinished sweater. Seizing a moment when the wolf guard turned away, the lamb secretly sheared off all its wool, hoping to weave a long rope that would stretch from heaven to earth, allowing it to snuggle back into its mother's embrace. Halfway through the weaving, the lamb fell asleep from exhaustion. Upon waking, it was stunned to find the rope completed, though the end felt strangely coarse and rough. Without a second thought, it began to climb down. A sudden gale swept through the air, shaking the rope violently. The lamb was nearly blown back to heaven, but managed to land safely at its home's doorstep. It rushed inside and pressed close to its mother, longing to speak, yet she could not hear a word. The chasm between the living and the dead felt far greater than the distance from heaven to earth. The wolf guard soon tracked the lamb down and forcibly took it back. Just then, the mother felt a sudden intuition. As her fingertips brushed the spot where the lamb had just been, a flood of memories washed over her. She recalled the sweater abandoned in the corner, picked it up, and resumed knitting stitch by stitch. She seemed to be reclaiming the lost years and finding the courage to go on living. Meanwhile, the lamb had been returned to the procession of souls crossing the river to heaven. While the other lambs clutched their favorite earthly possessions, it held nothing. Just as its turn came to cross, a warm sweater drifted gently down and settled onto its shoulders. It was the very sweater its mother had finished knitting. The lamb leaped for joy. The rule of the crossing was this: any earthly possessions brought along would vanish like mist once the soul reached the other shore. Yet, strangely, while the belongings of the other sheep vanished completely, the sweater on the little lamb remained wrapped firmly around its body, for a mother's love is never merely an external possession. Just then, the little lamb pressed close against the wolf guard's back and discovered it was completely bare, stripped of even the slightest tuft of fur. It turned out that the wolf guard had understood the little lamb's heart all along. While the lamb slept, the guard had quietly woven its own fur into that dangling rope. This girl melts under high temperatures and freezes solid when night brings frigid cold, for she is a candle being. She can only venture outdoors with her father at dawn and dusk. Glim, the candle girl, lost her mother, who went out in the afternoon and was burned to death by the blazing sun. From then on, her father forbade her from going outside in daylight. Still, the mischievous Glim devised an escape plan to attend the succession ceremony of the Sun and Moon Guardians. She thawed her frozen body with sunlight at sunrise, slipped into the shaded woods, while her father remained stiff from the cold, and hurried to the ceremony venue. In this world, the Sun and Moon Guardians steer mobile temples to pull the sun and moon along their courses and maintain cosmic balance. At the ceremony, the bold and arrogant stone giant Sohon was chosen by the sun without hesitation. Meanwhile, the timid, delicate night spirit Mune unexpectedly became the new Moon Guardian, filling Li Yun, the heavily favored candidate who lost the position, with burning resentment. Lurking deep underground, a lava monster had long coveted the sun's power. It sent glowing serpents to manipulate Li Yun, luring him to turn evil and plot to seize the sun and moon together. Lacking any practical experience, Mune panicked and accidentally snapped the binding threads, sending the Mune drifting away out of control. Enraged by this mistake, Sohon deserted his post to reprimand Mune. Unbeknownst to him, minions of the lava monster stole the sun in his absence, and Glim, hiding in the shadows, witnessed the entire scene. Though Mune retrieved the Moon, he could not put it back in its proper orbit. Glim rushed over right away to warn everyone that the sun had been stolen. With the sun gone, the world gradually froze over. Seething with rage, Sohon entrusted the Moon to the corrupted Li Yun and drove the remorseful Mune away. Deprived of the sun's nourishment, the Moon rapidly waned, its temple went haywire, and chaos engulfed the whole world. Determined to make amends, Mune teamed up with Sohon and Glim to journey to the planet's core and recover the stolen sun. The trio ventured deep into the core and confronted the villain head-on. Yet, the battle quickly fell apart. Sohon was overpowered by the lava monster, Mune was held back by imps, leaving only Glim to approach the extinguished sun alone. To save the world, she braved the scorching heat without hesitation and blew with all her might to rekindle the sun, slowly melting away in the intense warmth. Even with her last breath, she urged her companions to keep fighting. The sun blazed back to life. Sohon struck down the lava monster's physical form, while Mune entered the dream realm and extracted the evil serpent possessing the villain. Freed from the serpent's manipulation, the lava monster regained his senses and transformed into a boulder, breathing new life into the desolate inferno. Grief-stricken by Glim's sacrifice, Mune broke off a shard of the Moon to protect her body. Bathed in the gentle combined glow of the sun and moon, Glim was miraculously revived and freed from her cursed fate. Having survived life-or-death trials, Sohon and Mune matured into competent guardians. Crossing the divide between day and night, Mune and Glim found each other and stood side by side to safeguard this reborn land. The dog was trying to harvest wool. Unable to use shears, it had to vigorously scratch at the fleece with its paws. In its eagerness, it grabbed a tuft in its mouth and tossed it skyward, but the cloud of wool evaporated in the scorching sun before it could even rise high. The dog felt deeply disheartened by this. Just then, a lamb's fleece grew so thick that it began to float uncontrollably toward the sky. The dog rushed over and pinned it back down. To keep the flock from drifting away, the clever dog herded them all into the house, one by one. Just as the task was nearly complete, a lamb suddenly shot out through the window. The dog hurried in pursuit, but the lamb rolled straight into a thicket of thorns. The dog barked loudly into the bushes but received no reply. Just as it was about to crawl into search, the lamb emerged on its own. Its thick fleece had been stripped away by the thorns, and a cloud of wool was slowly drifting up into the sky. Inspired by this, the dog rushed back to the stone house, released the flock, and led them to rub against the thorns to shed their wool. As the clouds of wool rose into the air, heavy rain began to fall. Usually, the dog kept the white-bearded old man company while tending the flock. When shearing time arrived, the old man would work from the roof. The shorn wool transformed into clouds, which he would wave into the sky with his vine staff, gathering them to bring rain. Whenever it rained, the old man would take off his hat to shield the dog and amuse it by shaping the clouds into the form of a bone. Together, the man and the dog guarded this land, a place of lush greenery and crystal clear waters where the lambs lived peaceful, contented lives. One day, the dog woke up ready to start work but found the old man missing from the roof. It instinctively moved to call a shaggy lamb for shearing, but stopped abruptly, rushing instead to the old man's stone cottage. Pushing open the door, it nuzzled the old man's palm to wake him, only to find his hand hanging limp and lifeless. The innocent dog, not understanding what had happened, kept watch by the bedside. It was only when a withered leaf drifted down before it that the dog finally realized the old man would not be coming back. Stepping outside, the landscape had transformed completely. The vegetation was withered and dead, and the once vast lake had shrunk to a shallow pool. The sheep were all burdened with thick, overgrown coats that made them look as though they might float away at any moment. The dog hurriedly gathered the flock to shear them, but unable to use shears, it could only resort to the clumsy plucking method it had used at the very beginning. After trying various approaches, it once again utilized the thorny thickets to help the sheep shed their wool. As clouds of wool drifted skyward, heavy rain drenched the parched earth, and life slowly returned to the land. Though Grandpa was gone, the land he cherished remained. From then on, the dog shouldered the responsibility alone, taking up Grandpa's mantle to continue guarding this place.